So Kshama Sawant is somebody I really admire, that I really love. I literally want to go to Seattle tomorrow to just organize with her, because she's freaking amazing. And she's doing a lot of great community work. And she's one of these type of activists. And she's a city council member who have a really good sense of what's happening on the local level. And they also have a good sense on how to grow it on the macro level, how it's affecting, how it can affect everything else, right? She took on Amazon. She's taking on the police right now in Seattle in ways that are unprecedented. So Common Dreams wrote a great article of hers. So the Geneva Convention pretty much says that you cannot gas peaceful protesters. Tear gas has a lot of chemicals. A young woman died 2 days after being tear gassed. I mean, we don't really know if that's 100% the cause, but it has a lot of chemicals that affect people negatively. I mean, Tina was tear gassed as well. It's really, you feel like you're going to die. You can't breathe. And they were supposed to follow, the police were supposed to follow an order that said, no, you cannot tear gas these people, and they completely broke it, and they started tear gassing. And among them, of course, was Kshama Sawant. She was there fighting with the people. And so now she's telling the Seattle mayor that he needs to step down because this is unacceptable, right? And the Seattle mayor had promised that the law enforcement would stop deploying the tear gas, but then they didn't. And she said this is a wild abuse of power. And here is a little video of what they were doing. Let's just play a little bit of that video.
Protesters are throwing things back. There's a table right now. This is what's being just looked into the street right now. People are trying to kick it back.
It looks like a battlefield. There's no way that that's what it should look like when there are peaceful protesters. And that reminds us of what happened here before the ACLU and other protesters started suing the police. That's when they started backing up, because they came in here all gung-ho with the military, with their military grade weapons, with their tear gassing, with their rubber bullets. They came in all gung-ho. And they thought they were going to have no consequences, but the people fought back. The ACLU fought back. In this case, Kshama Sawant is a city council that is primarily very leftist. She is a socialist. She's not even she's a full-on socialist. Yeah, definitely a populist. And she demanded that Durkin Google the Geneva Convention to know what tear gas is all about, and citing the international protocol ban on using the chemical weapon on civilians. She was among those gassed and attacked on Sunday. So she wants him to resign. And she talked about this. This is shameful. This was a 30-day tear gas pause. It's totally meaningless. So again, they didn't respect their own law that they passed. It's absolutely ridiculous. And there's another one here by the New York Times, a little video right there that we can play. It's in the article, and it says a person drove into a crowd of Seattle protesters on Sunday night. Authorities said one person was shot. The Seattle Police Department said the driver was in custody. So there's a little video.
Can we play that video? There. I saw that.
Oh God, got a gun. He's got a gun. He's got a gun. Oh God. Oh my God. Oh no. My wife is getting alive. Oh God. Oh God.
Okay. So, another thing Kshama was talking about was the peaceful multiracial General Assembly outside of Capitol Hill. This battle was won by the protest movement We need to build on it immediately and peacefully escalate to win anything substantial like defund the police by 50%. Public meeting to discuss strategy tomorrow at 6 p.m. Call Anderson. This right here is brilliant. And let me tell you why. She's an organizer, but she's also a politician, and she's an activist. She's on the streets with the people right here, and she's going and taking that and saying, okay, this is what we just did. We're winning. Tomorrow we're going to meet and we're going to follow up on how to make this happen. So she's taking the activism into the city council and trying to make this law. And that is something that is so difficult to do. I mean, let me put out AOC, for instance. AOC, for example, is a congresswoman who, instead of doing what Kshama is doing, by the way, AOC has millions of more followers than Kshama. This is how you know Kshama's doing the work. She's not on Twitter all the time talking about how Republicans suck. She's literally on the ground with the protesters and then taking this back into her local community. That is what AOC should be doing.
Yeah.
Instead of placating to the establishment, Kshama's like, oh, yeah, no, we're going to do this our way. We're going to go in the streets and then we're going to take it into the community. That is what I need to see from people like the squad.
Yeah.
That is what I need to see.
Can I tell you something? I'm going to give you a little forecast of 2024 presidential race. Ready? Kshama Sawant will be running with the Green Party for president with Ajamu Baraka as her vice president against the Democrats Mitt Romney and Kamala Harris against the Republicans Liz Cheney, and to be determined who else will be the guy. I think the congressman with the patch on the eye, the ex-veteran from North Carolina, I forget his name. He will be the Republican vice president. I think he's been on Joe Rogan before as well, and he'll be behind Liz Cheney, Liz Cheney will attempt to be the first female president, but Kshama Sawant's going to come in there, and we're going to have a first Green Party candidate for president.
Interesting.
Ajamu behind her.
She's part of Socialist Alternative, so I know she's very dedicated to them. I mean, I don't know. She might run under a socialist party, but I think she's a very, she's able to think in the micro and the macros. And here's one other tweet she said. My Socialist Council office and our people's budget has for 6 years brought forward cutting police budget and funding housing services. Several current council members voted no year after year on cutting police budget in the past. Our movement is forcing them now. Defund the police. Okay, so Kshama Sawant is again, right now, the movement that is happening, she is jumping on that and saying, look, we have the receipts. We have been fighting for this for a while. And so because she has been doing that for a while, now she can be like, okay, now they're forced to do this, because if they don't do this, they look like assholes and they're going to get voted out. The city council in Seattle is no joke. I mean, they have she has built this sort of force, this sort of opposition, an actual opposition to the establishment. That is not what people like AOC are doing. This is why I criticize AOC, because people are like, oh, well, no, maybe she's just playing the game. So Pelosi endorsed her now. So see, like maybe, she's going to be progressive anyway. It never works, you guys. It never works. They change you. You don't change them. And by the way, she could have the people on her side. Kshama has the people on her side. That is the only reason she's successful, is because she has people on her side. She's doing what we need to be doing. Instead, AOC is placating to Nancy Pelosi because she wants to keep her seat. That is not how we change things. We change things by taking action on the streets and bringing that into the electoral politics.
Yep.
And then, Johnny, can we just play a little bit of the video from the Seattle City Hall? The Black Lives Matter protesters took over the Seattle City Hall. People there were saying they've never seen anything like it. And again, this is somebody like Kshama Sawant. Pretty much understanding. She's a socialist, right? So she looks at the oligarchy as the problem, capitalism as the problem. This is how you unite that ideology and that plight against the oligarchy with this. That is how you do it. You do it by saying, we as the people have to come together and fight against this, because this is unlawful. You shouldn't be treating people like this. You're infringing on our liberties. This is how you do it. I think it's so hard for people to do this because it's not second nature to do it. And I think it's something we can all learn from. And I think years later in history, we're going to be finally understanding the significance of having that politicians that can do both, especially at a time like this. Speaking of city councils, unlike in Seattle, who has Kshama
Seattle.
Sawant, the San Diego City Council voted to increase police funding 8-1. Only one person voted against that. And I know all my friends in San Diego, James Alaya, Mark Lane, they were all upset about this. They're saying this is ridiculous right now. Instead of defunding the police, they're actually increasing the funding, which is what we did here until we spoke up. So I encourage people in San Diego to protest against that. It is something
their houses.
That is really, really.
I was so against that, but now I'm like so for it. It's like go to their houses. I was like, I don't like doxing myself, whatnot, but I wanted to go into Garcetti's house.
Yeah.
And what did they do, fam? They went after him for the people's budget. You're spending the money on the LA Police Department.
Yep.
Oh no.
Yep.
We're gonna be making s'mores, hot dogs, burgers out here.
Yep.
We ain't going nowhere. We're pitching tents. We're gonna be out in front of your house. We're gonna devaluate your property value if you don't come out and face the people, and if you don't vote the way the people want you to vote.
Exactly, and that's why more than 4,400 San Diego residents flooded City Hall with phone calls and emails on Monday demanding the city, the city police reduce police funding and redirect the money towards rent relief, mental health, and boosting the local minority community. Again, if you're going to do that, I love this. Have the solution. Say, where's this money going to go? It's going to go here. I think a lot of people, like we were all saying, still don't understand what it means to defund the police. They think it means to get rid of the police entirely. That's not what people are saying. People want that money to go back into the community, instead into the prison system. That's ultimately what it is. We want the money to go into where it should go. We want the training to be different. We want the police officers to be different.
Yes.
That's what it means.
I think that's a fight we've been going on for a long time. When Bernie Sanders came to the forefront and said, education for all, free college, you know what I'm saying, free health care. People are like, oh, you just want free stuff. It's really not free. We're just allotting our tax resources.
We're already paying for it.
Exactly. Instead of paying for this over here, let's move this money over here and put it over there. I mean, that's been the libertarian argument for years. Like, let's stop going in these other countries and bring it home. But that was their big argument. It was like they were on the game. Fiscally, they said we shouldn't be spending our money. We should be spending it here. Now, it's for different reasons, fam. We understand this. We talk about that. But once again, if we can get that money away from over there and put it over there, like you said, it's nothing free. We're already paying for it. Let's just put the money where we want to put it. Let's put the money for the actual people. But that's what the fucking Democrats do. They put it in other places where we don't get the money. And they go along with the Republican rhetoric when they're telling us they're fighting for us by going down on one knee.
Yeah, it's just all symbolic. So on Twitter, there's this video that there was a rumor that during the blackout in D.C., the police were putting protesters in unmarked cars. And this person says that the police were putting these protesters in unmarked cars. They said armed identified men abducting women on the street, placing them in unmarked cars, and threatening to shoot anyone who questions. So let's watch a little bit of this and see. I haven't seen much of it, but this is the beginning.
No, she did not.
We watched her.
She put her hand up. She put her hand up.
I'm right here. She's gonna come with us.
Don't hurt her. No, don't hurt her.
Hey, don't get hurt.
Okay, why are you putting the flashlight in my face?
Yo, what the fuck? This is an unmarked car. Who is this?
Okay.
Who are you?
Wow.
Hey, you know what the rumor is, fam?
What?
What is
The
happening?
rumor is that Trump's going around and rounding up Antifa leaders and putting that, because your girl Cassandra Fairbanks put that on there. It was like, this is not like a Black Lives Matter organizer or whatnot. You know, it's just some white chick, whatnot. And they were saying that they were going after Antifa leaders, rounding them up and taking them off. Now, I don't know if that rumor's true, and I don't know who this is, but in any way, shape, or form. Okay. Once again, about our civil liberties and everything. Right?
Yeah. First of all, you can't round up Antifa because everybody. Wait a minute. Your grandparents were anti-fascists, by the way, because they fought in World War II. And the World War II, they fought against fascists in Germany. They fought against the Nazi regime. Those people are anti-fascist. So if you're going to jail anti-fascists, please go jail your grandparents if they're still alive, because that's what it means. Antifa is not a structured organization. It just literally means anti-fascist.
Yes.
So to be looking for to these people as these are the writers, the causes. The only writing we've seen has the majority of it has come from people who have nothing to do with the movement and are just there to take advantage of it. They could be, some of them have been policemen, some of them have been whatever, we don't know. But to say that these people are Antifa is jumping the gun. Now, also, do not get into an unmarked car. I mean, that is like...
They threw her in
I know.
there.
This is ridiculous. That, to me, is like, how are you I'm sorry. There have been cases, and my dad would talk to me about this all the time. If you ever get stopped by a cop, and make sure it's an actual cop, because women have been raped by people pretending to be police officers who aren't even police officers, and they don't even have a marked vehicle, and they tell her, oh, I'm a police officer. They have a fake badge.
Yeah, but they grabbed her and they threw her, and she tried to resist to get in.
I just think that's
she did fight off. And let me say this about the Antifa thing, because we did read the statement about it's like not an organized group. It's just kind of a movement. It is cliquey and clannish. There are people who get together that are of that Antifa mentality, and they organize things they do. So we can't say that there isn't a form of organization within the Antifa movement, because there is. And that's what this is. A lot of people say this is about, taking some of the heads of those dragons of Antifa, rounding them up.
But you don't know who they are, though. You're making assumptions based on that's what they're doing, and you're making assumptions based on what they're organizing.
No. I haven't been in their organized rooms, but they get together and organize. Fam, there are people and stuff. I've talked to Killer Cam about this, who knows a lot of them and stuff. They get together, fam. They work as groups. So, I mean, I'm not making assumptions. People plan stuff together. A lot of Antifa members plan shit together, not members, but of the Antifa mindset, get together and go hit the streets together.
I guess I should be then taken into prison because I'm
never said that you should be taken into prison.
No, I'm not saying you're saying that, but I'm just saying I'm not getting in a room and play. The majority of people don't do that. The majority of this is organic, and they just say, we're anti-fascist, we're against it. People are going to have various different opinions and tactics as to how to go about this. But I mean, is it really harmful for people who are against fascism to really get in a room together and talk about how we're going to defeat fascism? I don't really think so. We're in the middle of fascism right now, both from the Democratic Party and the Republican Party. Our civil liberties are being pushed on us. So why am I going to focus my hatred on Antifa? Like, I think this is why Donald Trump is making mistakes here. If this has anything to do with Donald Trump, this is a mistake, because you're literally going after people you don't even know who they're affiliated with.
That cop said, if you follow us, you will be shot, right? Didn't he say that at the end? Watch it at the very end there. Watch what he says.
Fuck! This is an unmarked car! Who is this? Who are you?
You follow us, you will get shot. You understand me?
See?
What is happening?
Where's she going?
They're fine.
Where's she going?
Where are you taking her? Where? You have to tell us where you're taking her. Where are you going? Where are you going? Help us! Help us! Who is this? Who the fuck?
One guy says, if you follow us, you will be shot. That is some scary fucking shit. That is fascism.
Yeah.
Right? That is fascism. I mean, rounding people up.
Okay, and just to we'll start finishing up. I think the last segment we'll just cut out because I have to.
Which one here? This one?
No. So George Floyd is laid to rest in Texas. That was yesterday.
Yeah.
He was laid to rest. They had a whole procession. A lot of people came in and spoke. He had a lot of people there that were pretty much just, paying the respects to what he has done, what he has sparked in this sort of Black Lives Matter movement. And it's really telling that somebody, I don't think he expected to change the world like this. His little daughter was the one that was talking about that he changed the world, and we've seen all the money that has gone into people like George Floyd's family, Ahmaud Arbery. We've seen this sort of happen, and people are starting to rise up. It's very important what's happening. I believe it is a first step in getting us to actually go and attack where we need to be. I think America needed a first step. I think if we were a different country, we might have not, but I think America did need the first step. And there's a video here of Dr. Cornel West talking to Anderson Cooper, where Anderson Cooper gets emotional. It's a 11-minute or 9-minute video, but we're only gonna watch the first 2.5 minutes of it. And let's just listen to how Dr. Cornel West is addressing this.
The chants of "We will breathe" outside of the church. I'm wondering what was going through your mind and your heart.
It was a heavy day, my brother. And yet I was buoyed up, because I saw in the hearts and minds and souls, not just of the Floyd family, but of the church, of the music, of the preaching, a love, not one reference to hatred or revenge. It was all about love and justice. It's in the great tradition of the best of Black people a people who have been hated chronically, systemically for 400 years, but have taught the world so much about love and how to love. You saw John Coltrane's Love Supreme in that church service. You saw the love of the children on Marvin Gaye's What's Going On and Toni Morrison's Beloved. You saw Mama Raise It in the Sun of Lorraine Hansberry. White America ought to give black people a standing ovation that after 400 years of being terrorized, we refuse to create a black version of the Ku Klux Klan. After 400 years of being traumatized, we want to dish out healers. That's Frederick Douglass. That's Martin King. That's Curtis Mayfield. That's Fannie Lou Hamer. What is it about these black people? So thoroughly subjugated, but want freedom for everybody. That's a grand gift to the world, right in the bowels, at the center of an American empire that is enslaved, Jim Crow, Jane Crow, lynched them, still dishing out these love warriors. That's what I saw in the Floyd family, and I was buoyed up. It reminded me of the West family, reminded me of Irene and Cliff and Cynthia and Cheryl. That's where we come from. Shiloh Baptist Church. You can put us down, but you're not going to put us down in such a way that we're going to hate you because you become the point of reference. No, we're going to put a smile on Larcenia's face. That's his mama. That's where he is right now. He's lying right next to Sister Larcenia, whose way of engaging the world was embracing it with all the love. Now, I'm not saying we don't have black thugs and gangsters. I'm talking about the best of our tradition. Because brother, if we had created a black version of the Ku Klux Klan, there'd been a civil war every generation with terrorist cells in every hood. And that's what Brother Trump needs to understand, because it looks like he's trying to push us to the race war. But the good news is, if there was a race war, we got a whole lot of white brothers and sisters on our side now. That makes a big difference. And we got black folk and red folk and indigenous peoples and Asians and so forth. This is a matter of integrity and honesty, a matter of justice and love. They kept it on the high ground. That was a beautiful thing. But I did break, though, brother, when I saw those brothers marching in.
Okay. So, yeah, as always, Dr. Cornel West has a way of explaining things in a way of, yeah. And bringing it back to, you know, unity, peace, prosperity. That was nice with Anderson Cooper. But not so nice, fam, when he tried to go on Sean Hannity. Now, for the record, my mom would sometimes put on Sean Hannity to listen to no. My mom despises Sean Hannity.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
But she would put it on so I could hear, and I would just get so angry. I'm like, how does this guy exist? He's disgusting. I hate him. I hate him. I really, really dislike Sean Hannity.
Yeah. My mom has moved away from Sean Hannity. Now she's Tucker. She's Tucker, right,
That's
Mom?
an improvement.
And, Mom, we didn't curse today. Give us some love, Mom. Thank you. Dr. Cornel
so,
West loses it here, though, on Sean Hannity.
Yeah.
We have civil rights attorney Leo Terrell, along with the co-host of the Tightrope podcast, professor at the ever-prestigious Harvard University, Dr. Cornel West. Every liberal big city, Chicago, run decades by Democrats. They've allowed the violence, and they have failed our American children with the most horrific schools in the country.
Goes to the police. They don't have enough housing. They don't have enough education, and they certainly don't have enough jobs with a living wage. That's under Rahm Emanuel. Now, I'm no fan of Rahm Emanuel, but I'm certainly no supporter, as you know, of you and your good friend, Brother Trump himself.
Why didn't Rahm Emanuel? Why did he not fix the violence?
But I'm going at you in the name of truth.
Okay, Leo, why didn't he fix the violence? Why haven't they fixed our broken school systems? We have failed America's children.
You know, Sean, you asked Dr. Cornel West the type of question you asked in the court of law. He won't answer them because he's just giving you old talking points. I'll speak to you, Dr. Cornel West, black man to black man. There's looting going on, and you try to conflate. No, it's my turn. It's my turn. You try to conflate protesting and police misconduct. And shame on you. And you're absolutely wrong. You won't address the issue. You will refuse to address the issue because I'm talking to you. You're not my brother. You're not my brother. You are hurting black people by acting this position. You are taking the wrong position. No, my brother. That stuff plays out. That plays out. Address the question. Negro. Do you? Oh my gosh! You have lost control. You're a dinosaur. You're an outright dinosaur. You have lost it, sir. I'm not part of your group. I'm not part of your group. You have lost it. You are a dinosaur. And you know what? He's trying to bring people of color. You are wrong. You are wrong, my friend. No, I don't think so. Because your position is so way off. I will not respect
you come out of the block disrespecting people. Yeah, you disrespect me the day that Brother Floyd is put in the grave. Who do you think you are?
That does not work on me. That does not work on me. You're wrong, my brother. Keep saying that. It's all talking points. All talking points. Those are all talking points.
Hang on, guys.
It just goes on like that for the next 3 minutes. They never get a word in. They fight, and yeah, I love when Dr. Cornel West says, "You are a neoliberal."
Yeah, I mean, that's what it is. He can call himself a Republican. At the end of the day, neoliberal, neocon, they're on the same side here. Dr. Cornel West makes a great point here. I understand the Republicans saying the Democrats. What have the Democrats done? Look, all the poverty, all this. They're right. The Democrats. But Dr. Cornel West is attacking the Democratic establishment as well. He's not saying that they're he's talking about neoliberalism. And that's the retort of Republicans who also forget that whenever a progressive tries to bring, like Bernie Sanders, something new to the table, tries to put some legislation in there, they stand and block it too. So really, like, they're both really doing shit for the American people. And I think it would have been nice to hear a discussion, but I understand the emotion behind it because it's interesting seeing two black men argue and completely disagree. And this is what the neoliberal and the neocon establishment have done. They have tokenized the black identity. That's why he's so upset. Dr. Cornel West is so upset because it's like, this man is a black person, but he's not speaking for black people. He's speaking for the establishment. And it doesn't matter if he's a Republican or a neoliberal, as he calls them.